Hey everybody, Peter Finch here, and today I am going to be trying out a rather interesting putter. It's this thing, a SIK arm lock, but in Bryson DeChambeau specs. So Bryson DeChambeau, the newly beefed up monstrous Bryson DeChambeau, a few years ago really wasn't that good of a putter. He was languishing way down in the stats on the PGA Tour of strokes gained putting. But then he switched to this method that we're going to be talking through using this putter. And now he's in the top 30 strokes gained putting on the PGA Tour. Some of the best players in the world, literally the best players in the world. He's one of the top ones putting using this weird, strange, very odd method. I think I'll come over in here and film by this wildflower meadow. Huh. Look at this. Now, everyone knows that Bryson has a very analytical mind. I think a few physicists actually hit out of him a few months ago saying he was talking absolute tosh. But the way that he speaks, the way he goes about the game, you can understand that he's very comfortable with this approach. But his approach to putting is very interesting, and it's something that you don't see a lot of players do. So what I'm going to talk you through is the method, is the putter. Is it going to be something that you should do, or is it something you should avoid like a putting plague? But guys, if you are new here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a part of this community here on YouTube, and hit that bell icon as well. I do not want you to miss out on any future videos that I post. So first of all, let's talk about the name, SIK. Now, SIK stands for Study in Kinematics, and this putter has a technology which, to be honest, I've never personally come across. So SIK called this DLT, a descending loft technology, which is based on the premise that golfers struggle to return the club to impact exactly at the same shaft angle. Some strokes you're going to hit more down, some strokes you're going to hit more up, but apparently with this putter, because it has different lofts within the face, no matter what shaft angle you return the putter at, the launch angle is going to be the same. And if you get the same launch angle, you're going to get consistent roll, you're going to get consistent distance control. Now, it seems like a pretty cool and sensible idea to me, and I think they're the only manufacturer which actually do this type of thing on their putter. And it always fills me with hope when a tour pro actually uses a club without actually being paid any endorsement deal. And that's what Bryson does with this putter. So you take into account the fact he's super analytical. I would say that's a pretty good indication that this putter is legit. Now, there may be a reason that many of you haven't tested this putter is because the price of Bryson's version is $749. Now, this makes it the most expensive putter I've ever tested. It probably makes it the most expensive putter I've ever actually held in my hands. Now, SIK do a number of different head designs, and this is the pro version. I've also got a normal standard type of setup to test in future videos. But Bryson, when he sets up to this putter, again, it's not exactly a normal setup and a normal technique. You can see how this Jumbo Max grip is actually rotated to the side, so the flat side actually fits on the inside of the forearm, which I really like. The lie angle on this putter is very upright, so you stood quite close and it feels like the arms are completely locked out. You've got to put that left forearm quite a long way forward as well. And the whole action does feel very rigid. It does feel very awkward, but it also feels very locked out, which is the whole point of what he's doing. He wants to feel like he's hardly moving. Oh, hello. Because what Bryson wants to do with this type of putting, he wants to feel like his elbows are rotated outwards, his wrists are rotated in. So he's maxed out his range of motion in those parts of the body. And then all he has to do is rock his shoulders back and through, but I can understand the consistency. I can understand why he does it. It just feels so alien. It just feels so weird. Let's talk about the shaft as well, this LA Golf shaft. Alone, this would be $400. And apparently the stiffness, the rigidity, it's just super low torque, so it's stable or something like that. Now, something to mention about Bryson and his putting style, that he's tried some very random things before, but as mentioned, he's very much settled on this type of style. And this type of style does have massive benefits. It really does reduce the amount of wrist movement within the stroke, and for a lot of people there's a sense of comfort that goes with that. If you're someone who's nervous over those short putts, who gets a bit twitchy in the hands, actually locking those joints out and just literally using those shoulders to rock the stroke, it could be a massive advantage. The difficulty is where you're going to get one of these clubs to test. Now, SIK are at the top end of the market as far as this style of putter goes, but there are other options available. But I'm going to test this out on the green here against my putter, my current Scotty Cameron, and my current technique, and we will see who comes out on top. Putter versus putter. Also give my thought on the feel and a little bit more about Bryson's technique. So if you did want to try it out, you can go ahead and do that. So first up, just a very simple ladder drill, but using my normal putting technique, which touch wood has been okay. Now I use a, I can imagine if I'd missed that, like 2-foot putt. So I've been using the claw grip, but stroke wise and putter wise, you know, very conventional. Got the Scotty Cameron Newport. Woo. And the feeling actually stood over the ball. You know, this is more like what I'm used to, and certainly more like what many people watching this will be used to as well. Well, full house so far. Oh. Now changing over from one to the other, this is where kind of like the extreme difference in the feeling comes in. So turning that elbow out a bit, locking it into that left forearm, closer to the ball, left arm ahead, super upright with the stance, and then just kind of rocking those shoulders back and through. I mean, I'd expect to wall that one. I have to say though, the actual pro head of this SIK putter looks actually really nice. It's really clean. And it feels really good as well. It actually feels 100% better than I thought it would. I thought I wouldn't be able to feel the club head at all, but it's a lovely weight, and it actually stroke-wise feels very, very solid. It's just the setup for me. Can you imagine? Imagine if I got a full house with this. Oh, I didn't turn. Tied the Scotty. Oh, no, it's short. No. Damn. So as mentioned, so far in testing, I would say that surprised is the best word I'd use. I think the shape of the putter head really helps here, because some of the arm lock putters that I've used in the past, they've really not looked that nice behind the ball. Even though this feels awkward in the setup, probably more awkward than those other arm lock putters, this looks the best, and therefore it inspires a little bit of confidence. And knowing that this type of club that took a relatively poor putter, I know, listen, it's all about the practice, technique, and all the work he's put in. But that does fill you with a little bit of confidence, I think. So I'll move this now to a round the world drill, 5 feet, 5 balls. Now, this is the type of length of putt which I think most people are going to feel the benefit if they switch to an arm lock. Sneaks it in. Oh, shifts away, that's one missed. Solid. It actually feels quite tense on my wrists and my arms, actually just locking them out, really kind of forcing them straight. Try and relax them a touch. Obviously need to lock them out more. Oh no, let's see how this Scotty does. It's just so different, it's ridiculous. Oh, I missed that one, no, Pete, come on. Oh my word. Pushed every single one of them. Legit felt pressure on that. It sounds pretty obvious, but the big surprise here is just how different those two techniques feel. I mean, they're completely opposite, totally different, unique ways of putting. Okay, let's go for distance putting. Surely this has to be advantage to the Scotty because of the way I'm used to putting and the feel that I'm used to having when putting. And this is kind of 40 feet, right to left, down the hill. It's not that down the hill though. Oh, maybe. Meh. Or is it meh? Meh. It's a tester anyway. Okay, switch into Bryson mode. Again, it's just so different. Go on. That's consistent, I'll give it that. So a few closing thoughts on the SIK putter. The feel and the look of that putter head, amazing. As mentioned, I've got the non-arm lock version to have a go with, and I'm very much looking forward to that. The arm lock version, for me, it's just too much of a departure from what I'm used to. And on the golf course, with the claw technique and everything that I've been doing in my practice, I'm actually putting really well, so I don't need to switch. But if you are struggling, you are nervous over those putts, that feels good. It feels like there's a lot less that can go wrong, which is of course why Bryson is doing this in the first place. But as always, I would love to know your thoughts on the SIK putter, on the arm lock method, and on the way that Bryson is using it. Is it something that you could be tempted by? Because let's face it, if you commit to the technique as Bryson has done, but would that be the same for every putter? That commitment factor? Or do you just need a brain the size of a blue whale? The whale itself. I don't know how big a blue whale's brain is. I imagine it's big. Well, that took a bit of a sideways motion, didn't it? Anyway, get down into those comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video, and we will see you down here next time.